Hey guys, so today we are going to be learning how to do a Procreate portrait tutorial. Now Procreate is this amazing app where you can do any kind of digital drawing, digital artwork. So you can see that we've used color, you can use it just for basic sketching. Really, you can use it for any kind of art that you might want to make. These are just some examples that I have used in my classes, and it's just a really fun app to use. So today we're going to be going with a nice basic tutorial about how to actually create our own pop portraits based on a selfie that we have taken in class. And this is an example from one of our students from last term. First, you're going to open Procreate, and then you're going to go to the little cross up the top and select screen size. And then it will open up. You're going to go to the little spanner on the top left, and then you're going to tap on add and then insert a photo. You're going to find your selfie that you took, or in my case, so many photos. So pick one and it'll upload. And then using your fingers, you're going to pinch out, and then you're going to resize your picture so that it fills the entire canvas. Next, you're going to go into layers, which is the two little squares on the right hand side, and you're going to press the plus button and you're going to add a layer and make sure that second layer is selected. Then you're going to click on the brush, go to inking, and you want the syrup. So that's the brush we want, the syrup brush. What you're going to do is making sure that layer 2 is selected. You're going to readjust your pencil size so it's not too big, and you're going to start then making sure that your brush actually color is the right color, which is black. You're going to start to draw the outlines of your portrait. Now we're going to go over all the details here, making sure everything we get is nice and clear. So take your time, and if you need to, there's a little tiny back arrow that allows you to do an undo. So this is the time where you just take your time, go around the outside of your person and of your face. Now that we've done all of our outlines with our black pen, we're going to open up our color wheel in the top right hand corner, and we're going to look for a skin color. So I'm just going to move the wheel around until I get to a skin tone, and we're going to drag it with our finger and drop it. Now you can see here that I have obviously got some gaps. I'm going to go back to my pencil and I'm going to change the color again to black. So back to my brush, and I'm just going to fix up where the gap is. So you need to make sure that you check that, and it'll tell you once you add your color. So I'm just going to go back over, fill in some lines so that when I do drag and drop my color, it only goes in the spots that I want my color to go. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go back into my color wheel, which is in the top right, find myself a nice shade. So I'm just dragging with my finger over to the color I'm after, changing the hue a little bit, and then again dragging and dropping. Yeah, that's a little bit too pink, so I'm going to go back into my wheel, and I'm just going to lighten it a little bit, add a little bit of orange maybe to it, just to make it a little bit more realistic. And then once I'm happy with that, drag and drop. Okay, so now I'm thinking, all right, what's the next step? I now am going to go back into my wheel, and I'm going to go and do her hair. So I'm going to grab a brown, just going to drag and drop that again, making sure I get both parts, the top and the bottom part, drag and drop with my finger. All right, so now we've got our skin tone and we've got our hair. So now we can start to move on to our detailed areas. Okay, so this might mean you need to pinch to get a bit closer if you need to. So I'm gonna go back into my color wheel. I'm gonna go to pink because I'm gonna do her lips. I'm gonna start with one shade and I'm gonna drop that on to her top lip, and then I'm gonna go back again and I'm gonna get a slightly different shade. So I'm gonna lighten it again for her bottom lip. And that obviously needs to be sealed. So I can go back with my black pen, get my brush, and now I just need to go back in, and you can see how I've just fixed that line up so that it fills. So now if I hit on history, that color is back there. So I'm gonna get that pink and now it seals. Okay, so if you click on history, you see all your colors there. So the next stage I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna work on the eye. So I've pinched with my fingers. So remember, put together, pinch outwards. I'm gonna open my color wheel. Let's look at what colors we're gonna go for. So I thought, all right, I'm gonna put the pink on the lid again. And then I thought, well, looking at that other eye, I'm gonna need to seal that because it's actually unsealed. So I'm gonna go click on history, hit the black, get my brush, and you can just see I'm just gonna seal up those edges. So when I go back and get that pink again, and then I drag and drop, and it fills that eye. So now I'm thinking, all right, let's go to our next stage. I'm gonna get my next color. So I'm just gonna fill those in. So I'm gonna get that black, fill in that eye, because I know that when I get the color next, it's going to bleed, and I don't want that. All right, I'm gonna go for the background color. That's the exact same color as her skin tone. So let's go to a white. Fill that one in so it's nice and white. Excellent. So remember, we're looking for pop. White, and then we're going to go back in to get our iris colors. I don't actually know what color her eye is in because it's a black and white photo, so I thought I'm just going to go with blue. And then again, drag and drop, so we've got those beautiful eye colors. Now you're obviously going to put a lot more detail into this than me. I'm just doing a nice quick tutorial for you. So now that we've done that, okay, let's just fill in her nose. Just black's fine, nice and simple. And I'm going to start to pinch outwards again. So pinching outwards again, so I'm pushing outwards with my fingers. All right, let's start to fill some more of this image. So back into my color wheel, and I'm like, what color can I get her to sort of be wearing? I might just go to a nice green. Find a shade that I like. And once I'm happy with that, I'm gonna drag and drop it onto her top. There we go. And then the next stage I'm gonna go to is you can actually look at your background color. So I'm gonna go for opposite colors. It's always good to have opposite colors, and you've done your color theory. And drag that yellow, oh, looking bright, it's looking fresh. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of detail to my picture. So I'm gonna go back into my wheel, and I'm going to find a different shade of brown right now. So you notice I'm moving the wheel so it's not the same shade of brown. Going back into my brush, and if you note on the hair, I'm just adding some hair strands. Just with my brush pen, adding some hair strands for some detail. So you'll be able to do this with your hair. So add some detail on it. I'm only going very quick. You're gonna put a lot more detail into yours. But then I'm also, once I've done that, I'm gonna go back into the color wheel because I'm thinking, well, I'd like to use more than one color. Okay, you can see I've thickened my brush a little bit. So I've got to go back into my wheel, and then I'm going to choose a lighter shade. So bring it up again, and then I'm going to add some lighter shades to her hair for some highlights. So it looks a little bit more realistic because none of us have one shade of hair. We've got lots and lots and lots of different colors that are in our hair. So the next thing, I'm going to go back into my color wheel, and I'm going to go to the green, and I'm going to put some texture into her shirt. I'm going to show you two different ways you can do it. So I'm going to play with my brush, and I'm just going to show you how to add some little tiny bits of tone there using just my brush and just getting that nice and neat. Now there are lots and lots of different brushes that you can actually use for different types of details. So I'm just going to fill in with the green and have a look and be like, yep, all right, let's see how this looks. Change the brush width. But then what I can do, if I wanted to, is I'm going to go into my brush. I'm going to click on the brush icon, and I'm going to scroll down and have a look. So see how there's different types. I'm going to go to water and click on the water sponge, and you're going to see, because it's massive at the moment, the size of it, it makes it look a bit watercolory. So I'm gonna undo, and then I'm gonna make the size that I want. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of shading using this green, making sure that my paint, and so you can see I'm just adding that there to make sure it's a bit of color, bit of texture. Okay, so using the different brushes now, you can actually just add that little bit of texture. And you may want to do this to your background, you may want to add this to your hair. That's completely up to you how that you want it to look. So once you're happy, so you can see the difference between the two. Once you're happy, you're going to go back into your layers, and then you're actually going to go to layer 1, which is your base layer that you've copied from. And you're going to swipe it to the left, and you're going to click delete, so that the layer underneath is completely gone, and then you're only left with the artwork that you've made. So again, you can see the difference between the two. We're going to go into our little cog, go into share, going to click on JPEG, and then it will export. When it asks you, you're going to tap on save image, and then it will say export successful, which means that when you go into your images and you obviously scroll to the right time rather than the back, there is a lot of artwork in my iPad. Yes, I know. Right down the bottom, you will have your artwork. And then that is how you make your portrait.